Okay, thanks so much, Eli. Let me just set my timer as everyone is doing. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick overview of some of the work related to seasonal ponds in the Great Lakes region that I've been doing in collaboration with Randy Kolka, Sue Eggert, Brian Palick, and other folks from the Chippewa and Superior National Forests. Please visit our poster to learn more. That's where all the technical details are. In this short talk, I'm going to take us more on a visual tour of seasonal ponds, just to get us sort of all in the same mind frame and provide a little interest, hopefully. So, make sure. Seasonal ponds are, wetlands. They're also known as vernal pools, ephemeral wetlands, woodland pools, and snowmelt ponds, among others. You might have a picture of a seasonal pond in your mind, but they can be really diverse ecosystems and take the form of a classic oval pool with sort of an open canopy to just being seasonally wet portions of wetland complexes or floodplains. And of course, ponds look really different as the seasons change. I'm sure most of you have encountered these small pools during your time in the woods. Generally, they appear in low, small depressions in the early spring, and they often disappear by mid to late summer. Seasonal ponds are best known for their role in the lives of amphibians, such as wood frogs and mole salamanders, and some key invertebrates, such as clam shrimp or fairy shrimp. But they can be really important biogeochemical hotspots for carbon and mercury cycling, especially in upland forests. Identifying ponds such as these can be challenging due to their small size, their variable and seasonal hydrology, and their really diverse vegetation communities. Additionally, seasonal ponds such as this one occur across a wide range of landscapes and forest types. So there's not one typical pond you can point to and say all ponds are going to look like this one. What we've been working on is a synthesis of published literature and technical documents related to seasonal ponds. And on our poster, we present tables summarizing physical and biological characteristics that capture the diversity of these important wetlands and can be used by you to help identify them in the field. So again, please visit our poster for those more specific details. I'm going to take the next few minutes just to speculate a little bit about why maybe you should care about seasonal ponds in your work. I think everyone probably agrees that there are many good reasons not to harvest in wetlands. Wetlands go by many different names and types, and at the baseline, their names aren't really important, but just that they exist along a continuum of wetland characteristics. And along this continuum, seasonal ponds are just wetlands that are hard to identify. So, knowing about how to identify them allows activities such as forest harvesting to be done in ways that protect them and therefore protect more wetlands in general. So if you want to identify ponds in the field, the best time to do it is the spring. Here's a video of ponds in the spring. These are the times when they're at their largest point, when the water is the deepest. And if you're using organisms to identify ponds, this is the time when those key breeding organisms are present. One challenge of using pond organisms as your identifier is that some organisms, such as fairy shrimp, may be present for really short periods of time, like 2 to 3 weeks each year. And other organisms, such as wood frogs, might be absent 1 year, depending on long-term precipitation and wetness patterns. So you have to be careful if you're only using biology. Unfortunately, if you're doing a site survey, the best time to identify seasonal ponds is one of the worst times to operate in proximity to them, right? You want to go out in the spring when it's wettest. It's not the time it's easiest to get out there. But it's important to do this because failing to recognize a pond and leave a sufficient buffer can compromise the desired future conditions of seasonal ponds. They can become non-forested due to shrubbification. There can be wind damage to your buffers if they're not appropriately sized, and they can be subject to other disturbances. Seasonal ponds are important, right? Their edges provide microclimate refugia and can be important seed sources for vulnerable species or wildlife, for timber. They can be important places for yellow birch and white cedar to exist, and they might be something that you can add to the landscape as a potential future resource for those populations.
Katie, 30 seconds, please.
Sorry. With that, I'd like to thank you guys, and please visit our poster to learn more about seasonal ponds.